Whispers beneath the Great Pyramid. Early one warm morning, I stood on the edge of the desert, looking at the Great Pyramid of Giza. It was much bigger than I had imagined. The stones looked ancient and powerful, as if they were watching everyone who came close. I had seen many photos before, but standing there felt very different. The air was quiet, and even the sound of the city seemed far away. I was part of a small tour group. Our guide, a calm man named Hassan, smiled as he welcomed us. He told us that the pyramid was built thousands of years ago and that many secrets were still hidden inside. When he said this, I felt a strange excitement mixed with fear. I did not know why, but my heart started to beat a little faster. As we walked closer, the sunlight reflected off the huge stones. I touched one of them with my hand. It was warm and rough. Suddenly, I felt a light vibration under my fingers. I quickly pulled my hand back. I told myself it was only my imagination, but I did not touch the stone again. We entered the pyramid through a narrow passage. Inside, the temperature dropped and the air felt heavy. The walls were close, and we had to walk slowly. Our footsteps echoed loudly, even though we were not making much noise. The darkness made everything feel more serious and mysterious. Hassan explained the history of the passage, but his voice sounded distant. As we moved deeper inside, the lights along the walls began to flicker. One woman in the group laughed nervously and said it was probably a technical problem. Still, everyone became quieter. We reached a small chamber and stopped to rest. While the others were listening to the guide, I noticed a low sound. It was like a whisper, but I could not understand the words. I looked around, but no one else seemed to hear it. The sound grew stronger for a moment, then suddenly disappeared. I wanted to tell someone, but I was afraid they would laugh at me. I decided to stay silent and follow the group. As we continued, I felt like the pyramid was alive, as if it was aware of our presence. Soon, Hassan led us into a larger room. He said this room was important and asked us to be respectful. While he was speaking, the lights went out completely. Darkness filled the chamber, and someone gasped loudly. For a few seconds, there was total silence. Then, without warning, the lights came back on. Everyone laughed with relief, but Hassan looked confused. He said the lights were new and very reliable. This made me uneasy. The pyramid was not finished with us yet. As we walked again, I noticed symbols carved into the walls. I had seen similar pictures in books, but these felt different. One symbol caught my attention. It looked like an eye watching from the stone. When I looked away and then looked back, the symbol seemed slightly changed. I blinked and shook my head, trying to clear my thoughts. Near the end of the tour, Hassan allowed us a few minutes to explore quietly. I stepped a little away from the group and stood alone in a narrow corridor. The silence was deep and heavy. Suddenly, I felt a cool wind brush past me, even though we were deep inside the pyramid. I heard footsteps behind me. Slowly, I turned around, expecting to see another tourist. The corridor was empty. The footsteps stopped, but I felt someone was still there. My skin felt cold, and I could not move for a moment. Then, I heard a soft voice say my name. It was clear and close. My heart raced. I answered, but no one replied. At that moment, Hassan called the group to leave. The voice vanished, and the corridor felt normal again. I walked quickly back to the group. No one noticed anything strange about me, but my hands were shaking. I wanted to leave the pyramid as soon as possible. When we finally stepped outside, the sunlight felt too bright. The noise of the desert returned, and people spoke loudly again. Everything looked normal, but I felt different. I looked back at the Great Pyramid one last time. For a brief second, I thought I saw a shadow moving along the stones, even though the sun was high in the sky. Then it was gone. On the bus, Hassan thanked us and said the pyramid always leaves visitors with strong memories. I did not tell him about what I experienced. Some secrets, I felt, belonged to the pyramid alone. That night, in my hotel room, I could not sleep. When I closed my eyes, I heard the whispers again, soft and distant. I realized then that visiting the Great Pyramid was not just a trip into history. It was a journey into something deeper, something that was still alive beneath the ancient stones.